Good morning and welcome to Mornings on Main Street for this Friday, May 5th. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. Well, I hope you have your energy all set for this weekend because it is going to be a busy one in Middle Tennessee. But there is one festival we are going to highlight this morning, and it is the Old Timers Day Festival happening in Dickson County. Now, this has been going on for decades. It always draws a big crowd. But coming up in a few minutes, we're going to share with you what's in store as far as later on today and then the full day of events for tomorrow on Saturday. Not only that, I was heading to another spot in Dickson to highlight an event that you'll see a little later in the show, but I happen to be talking to the daughter of the Grand Marshal for the Old Timers Day Parade happening in Dickson tomorrow morning, which you're going to hear about in a minute. But I was talking with her and she was sharing with me her father, Mac Adams, who is the Grand Marshal, 94 years old. She was saying that he is excited about this, and we get to hear more on his reaction to being told that he would be the Grand Marshal, and then, of course, the family's excitement as well. That is coming up. After that, we learn how to decorate a table not only beautifully, but in a way that could be sentimental and very special for your family. So Devon O'Day and Sylvia Ganier will share some tips on how to make a beautifully decorated table for dinner or for any other meal a little later here on Mornings on Main Street. But first, let's get a check of our headlines. Keeping two books containing some controversial content available to all Wilson County High School students, and then a nearly $1.2 million for repairing tennis courts at two high schools were both recently approved by the Wilson County Schools Board. Now, the books are The Kite Runner and The Carnival at Bray. You can read the discussions and the comments from the recent board meeting by going to the Chronicle of Mount Juliet. And then Women Are Safe, Inc. in Dickson County is receiving over $2,600. Now, this is all thanks to the General Federation of Women's Club, Dickson County Women's Club Inaugural Women's Expo. The funds will help Women Are Safe, Inc. serve women leaving domestic violence in Dickson and 4 other rural Tennessee counties. You can learn more about the recent expo itself and the organization behind the event by going to the Dickson Post. And then, okay, you guys, shout out to Clarksville's, Haven Madison, and Mountain Juliet's Oliver Steele. This is just the coolest. Both Madison and Steele, they have advanced on to the final 8 on American Idol. With nearly 23 million votes tallied by the end of Monday's program, Madison, she secured her spot there in the top 8. Now, Steele, he secured his spot when competition judge Katy Perry selected him to remain on the show. Talk about a big boost right there. An incredible talent. The show's season finale is scheduled for May 21st, and I know so many of us will be watching here in the Middle Tennessee area. Okay, let's get a check of that forecast because, like I said, if you've seen some of the events throughout the Middle Tennessee area, you know it's going to be busy, and I bet you're heading out to a few of those events yourself. So let's see what sort of weather we have in store for us for the weekend. Let's turn over to our friends over at Tennessee Valley Weather.
Hey folks, happy Friday to you. Ben Luna here with you in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center, wishing you a happy weekend eve as you check out this forecast update. All right, across the area weather-wise today, raincoats and umbrellas needed, predominantly west of I-65 through this morning, and then translating into the eastern part of the mid-state and along the Cumberland Plateau as we head through the midday and afternoon. Here's Futurecast showing that big old region of unsettled weather working its way across the area. Notice that we could see a few thunderstorms in the mix as well, but the good news, there is good news to the forecast, believe it or not. As we look ahead to this evening, notice shower activity becomes much more scattered in nature, and that's what we'll have to contend with as we look into the weekend. Not a solid washout for Saturday or Sunday, but there's going to be a good chance for scattered storms here that will linger, just not widespread rain. So little good, little not so good for today. Highs across the region still in the upper 60s across the area. That number becomes around 10 degrees warmer looking ahead to tomorrow. 78 for the high on Saturday. The 80s here for Sunday and onward. Notice scattered storms with us. as we work through the better part of next week as well. I'll leave you with a final look at the forecast. Thanks for tuning in to the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. Have a great day.
Tennessee Valley Weather was brought to you by Fred's Flooring. The Main Street Awards voting in Rutherford County is happening now. Don't forget to go vote for Fred's Flooring. Go check out their products at 490 St. Andrews Drive, Suite 105 in Murfreesboro, or give them a call at 615-645-3565.
The Old Timers Day Festival is coming up this weekend. I'm talking today and Saturday in Dickson County, Tennessee. And to tell us about what we can expect, we have Elizabeth Kuhns. She is on the planning board for this festival. You guys have been busy. You're ready to go. What can everyone coming out expect?
Well, thank you for having me, and we are so excited. This is the 64th annual Old Timers Day Festival here in Dickson County, and we are once again hosting it in downtown Dickson. It's a historic downtown Dickson. If you've never been to Dickson, this is the time to come out and enjoy the sights and the sounds and the tastes and the art of Dickson County. It is going to be a 2-day festival, and it will begin today. This evening we'll have an art show and a cruise-in, both starting at 5 p.m. and then tomorrow's festivities will begin very early with a pancake breakfast at 6:30, followed by the historic Old Timers Day Parade and lots of live music, great food, vendors, in celebration of our historic values and traditional memories that we have held near and dear here in Dickson County.
Dickson County is such a special spot, and I know I've mentioned this before. I grew up in Dickson County. I am from White Bluff, Tennessee. I graduated from Dickson County High School. I remember being in this parade when I was little.
Yeah.
The Main Street right behind us, that is where some of the parade on Saturday morning, that's where the street will go down. But it is a great turnout, and really one where the community, the entire county tends to turn out.
Oh, yes. And we've been so fortunate. Despite COVID, we have had, in the years since, we've had a great turnout, great participation from Dickson County and the surrounding areas. I feel like this is an event that really brings out people from across the state, family and friends. And like you said, people who grew up here may not come back a lot, but they will come back for Old Timers Day weekend. It's a historic event. The first one was held in 1959, and it was started by 3 gentlemen here who just knew that there was a need to get together and celebrate those traditional values and celebrate those of us who have lived long enough to see so much change in Dickson County. So it's a wonderful time to come out.
Speaking of someone who has seen a lot of change in this county, that is your Grand Marshal for this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Mac Adams, correct?
Yes, Mac J. Adams. He is a 94-year-old military veteran. He was a member of the graduating class of Hampton High School, which was the all-black high school here in Dickson prior to integration. And he has lived a full and storied life. He has so many stories to share, and he is someone who it's the perfect person to represent what Old Timers Day is all about. And he has such an amazing recall of his life of 94 years. He has 8 kids, all of whom are grown adults now and have gone on to have their own kids and grandkids. And he certainly is going to be celebrated on tomorrow on Saturday, and we're so excited for that.
Oh, I love that. So I do have to say there is some rain in the forecast for either later today or Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys going to do? Will it still continue on?
So we have historically, this is again the 64th year, and I think 63 years there's been rain in the forecast. This is actually back during the worst floods, the major flooding that happened several years ago, 2012, I think. It started on an Old Timers Day. That was the day it started. So we're not saying it's going to rain, but we are saying we're used to that being a forecasted weather event. We will, as as long as there is no thunder, lightning, or flooding, we will continue on as planned. We will have updates on our social media accounts if you haven't already checked those out at Old Timers Day Dickson or Old Timers Day Festival. We will provide updates on weather and potentially any cancellations, but we are planning for it to be a beautiful day like today, and that's our plan. So
I hope so. And there will be gospel music and bluegrass. Am I right in both?
We do. Yes. So we have 2 different stages, music stages. We'll have a gospel stage, which will be set up right down here in front of the Dickson Police Department behind the War Memorial Building. That is a favorite. That's been a fan favorite for a long time. It'll have covered seating, and it'll just have really encouraging and uplifting music. Some of the featured artists. It'll be hosted by Pam Weston, the Quest Center, which is a local nonprofit here in Dickson that incorporates the music, the art and music for our young people. They will perform, and then also some returning featured artists from last year, as well as Compassion Church praise and worship team. And then on the main stage, which is going to be House of Brews, is going to be the sponsor of that. It'll be at the corner of Frank Clement Place and Main Street. So it'll be, we're going to have a full lineup of a mix of local and from Nashville, some artists who are no stranger to Dickson. It'll be great music, great food, and a great time.
Old Timers Day Festival today and then on Saturday. So be here in Dickson. You will not regret it. You will love spending your time down here. Elizabeth, again, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, stick with us. We have more coming up here on Mornings on Main Street right after this.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Who wouldn't love a stuffed booster? I know I sure would, or any sort of sound swag, all of which can be found at Nashville Sounds Pro Shop. The Nashville Sounds and Main Street Media Television would love to invite you out to Sunday Family Fun Day, each Sunday home game. You can also register to win free tickets by going to your favorite Main Street Media website. Register to win, and then we'll see you here at the ballpark. Welcome back. We just got all the information for this weekend's Old Timers Day Festival in Dickson County. The Grand Marshal for the Old Timers Day Parade happening tomorrow morning is 94-year-old Mac Adams. Now, Mac Adams is a lifelong resident there in Dickson. He's married, raised his family there in Dickson. He's a veteran of multiple wars, and his daughter tells me that Mr. Adams is a very humble man and not one to take the spotlight at any time. I had actually met up with Pamela Edmond on another story and had learned just before that she was the Grand Marshal's daughter. So, of course, I had to ask, what was your dad's reaction? And this is what she had to say.
Now, when Dad was told that he had been selected, he said, well, I guess you didn't have anyone else, so now you're picking the bottom of the barrel. And that's how he is with this. I mean, there's really no excitement with him with it. My dad's very a community person, so he just does what needs to be done to help people and do what he's doing. So it's great. I mean, I'm excited. I am. And a family, there are 8 kids, 5 girls and 3 boys, and I'm the best. I'm the best. And we're all excited about it, just seeing him.
That was just great. Pamela, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I would like to encourage all of you to head over to the Old Timers Day Festival Facebook page. On the page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see an interview, a podcast interview done by Burns Church of Christ's Matthew Hyatt. Again, it was posted yesterday, but he sat down with Mr. Mac Adams to talk about his life and have him share his story. And let me tell you what a story he has, because Mr. Adams, he is a veteran of 27 years. He has seen a lot. He has done a lot, and he has some insight on a little bit of the past there in Dickson, and something I think you might want to check out. So do go over to the Old Timers Day Festival Facebook page. Well, stick right here. We have more coming up after this. We're going to hear from Devon O'Day and Sylvia Ganier on making a beautifully decorated table.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Welcome back. We now have Devon O'Day and Sylvia Ganier in the kitchen for today's Devon's Table.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm Devon O'Day.
And I'm Sylvia Ganier.
It's time for Devon's Table, and we're here in the teaching kitchen here at Green Door Gourmet. And we don't just talk about food on this show. We talk a lot about how to set a good table and how to make your table look like a home. And napkins, I don't know about you, but linens have always fascinated me. I love them.
You know, where in the South, sometimes we think this is the perfect napkin.
Yes. Right in the center of the table.
That is only when you're having really messy barbecue. That's the only time.
A centerpiece and napkins. It's utilitarian and decorative.
Absolutely. But when you're talking about wanting to set a nice table, that could be for a special occasion or just every night. Okay. And it was a really fun story that I was reading about napkin rings.
Oh, okay.
And so napkin rings became very popular in medieval times because they did not do laundry every day and they did not have paper towels. Uh-huh. And so when you had your napkin to use for the week. So each person would have their own napkin ring. It would probably have their initials or their name in it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was a particular, if for a finer house, you might have one that is a dog or a cat or a particular filigree to it. And Dad had the one with the dog and the wife had the one with the cat.
Kind of like playing Monopoly.
Absolutely.
I have the one with the shoe.
And you kept your napkin until it was time for laundry day.
Wow. How cool is that?
And so that way you remember which one is yours.
I love it.
We don't do that anymore with our napkins, but in order to take care of our napkins, you probably don't want to use your finest napkins on those everyday nights. Mm-hmm. So find some good, inexpensive, fun cotton napkins or a polyester napkin.
Yeah.
Or I don't really like the satin feel ones because they slide off your lap.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
And then you end up using your shirt tail because you don't want to be embarrassed to ask for another napkin, right?
Right.
So you want to get a good cotton or a poly napkin that has a poly blend to it. You can get one that has a little frill or something cute if you like setting the cute table. Different colors for different times of the year. I like beige napkins because they hide a multitude of sins and stains.
Gotcha.
You don't have to bleach them as often as you would a white napkin, but it is the sign of true hospitality to have a stark white napkin.
Right.
When you're tasting wine, you also would use a stark white napkin in case the walls are it's really dark and you want to see the color of the wine. You can hold your glass against the white of your napkin to see the true color of the wine in a dimly lit restaurant.
I didn't even think about the color of a napkin. I know that black ones are used so you don't get the fibers of the white on your dark clothing.
Yes, I'm surprised I don't have fiber all over me from moving all these napkins down here already. So, but I do like light beige or cream colored napkins as well as the other. Sometimes you will see these. This is called a bistro napkin.
Oh, okay.
That have the little line in it. Dish towel look sort of napkin.
Like a tea towel, kind of.
A bistro napkin. These are really fun for home use, and you can get some of these that are really inexpensive, and they launder really well, and the stains come out
Oh, nice.
of these pretty easily. This is a standard restaurant white napkin. A little note when you fold a napkin, if
Yes.
no one has ever told you, there is a seam inside the napkin. The seam always gets folded in so you don't see it.
Oh, okay.
If you go to a restaurant and they hand you a roll up and the seams are on the outside, that server really wanted to get home quick and they did not bother to fold the napkins correctly. You might point that out to the manager and say, hey, you need another napkin rolling time. And from that, you can create a lot of different shapes. You might just fold it in half and then in half again for the standard square fold. You could take it and you could do corner to corner for this and even go one further in. This is the bishop's crown. If it's super stark white, then you pull that down like that, and that would be, you know, your table decoration. So you can do origami basically with napkins as long as they're starched, and you can create all kinds of different things.
Napkin ring in the center of the plate.
Absolutely. You can also take ones that are like this, and you can fold it like this. You can twist it in a little knot and pull it through gently like this. And this is a new fad. Instead of using a napkin ring in the center of the plate, this becomes how it looks, just resting like that. And then you untie it when you sit down. See a lot of that in different restaurants as well. I probably wouldn't do this with a very fine hem stitch napkin just because of the pull on the fiber.
Yeah.
But if it's a poly napkin or a cotton napkin, I could do that.
Yeah. I have friends that used to have, they would buy a bunch of bandanas and they would wash them while they're nice and soft, and they would have a basket of bandanas. And that was their napkins for the, and I thought that was so cool.
So cute. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. When we talk about hem stitch, we're talking about this, where you have this lovely little extra stitch along the hem here of this.
And it's decorative, yeah.
And hem stitch napkins are generally a little more expensive than a napkin that's like this, but if you take good care of them, then they will last forever. Again, I was talking about you need to starch your napkins if you want to be able to fold them into different shapes, but a regular hem stitch is soft. Feel it. It's like your granny's napkin. It's really soft.
It's
you know?
really nice. Yeah.
And so you don't have time to iron. What you can do is you can take this, do it like this, put it in one of the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put the water in the same glass, but you can put this and people take the napkin out of the glass. So if you don't have time to press your linens, it's a quick way to hide the multitude of sins that happen.
Pretty,
It looks
and it
cute.
still looks
so
pretty,
intentional. It's so good. It's so good. And then now we have the ultimate. This is a damask cloth napkin. Usually these have a little bit of plant stuff on it there. These have a nice decorative border to it. Feel the weight of that cotton. It's a heavy napkin.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
And generally they are what is known as a 20 by 20 size, okay? So this is a little bit larger napkin. The napkins like this guy, if you unfold him, you're going to see he's probably 18 by 18.
Oh, fit inside there, yeah.
You know?
Very, very different.
If you're really doing something fun and cool, maybe not with these two colors, but you wanted to do something cute, you can do two together and bring in the color of a table with another napkin in the middle as well.
And actually not a bad color. You can tie that with some burlap and that'd be really pretty.
It'd be really fun. And then you got a fancy napkin, or you could even use lace or something like that.
Sprig of rosemary inside there. Yeah.
Looking at you getting all fancy, girl.
You're getting fancy.
You're getting all fancy. So we talked about these are dinner napkins,
Yes.
20 inch, 16 to 18. This would typically be considered a luncheon napkin, a smaller size napkin, unless you're using it with something else. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk about some cocktail napkins.
Cocktail napkins.
People don't use them very much anymore. You get a bev nap, you know, at the restaurant or whatever, but I just love them. And so cocktail napkins can be small, very frilly things that fit on a cocktail tray.
Okay, nice.
And you put a napkin down on the cocktail tray so your glasses don't slide. It gives you friction so your glasses don't slide. So you're carrying iced tea. It doesn't have to have alcohol in it. You're carrying a big thing of iced tea out on a platter. Put a nice towel or napkin down for that cocktail napkin. preferably, so your glasses don't slide.
I like that. And they don't sweat underneath. And
It catches all that, and so it goes nicely on the table. And then when you go to serve it, if you're serving a cocktail or a mocktail or just a nice glass of tea, and you want to be super fancy, you can use a cocktail napkin.
I love these.
And these are some different ones that are vintage, and then this is available anywhere. They get to be expensive, but you can find good deals on Amazon and other places. So this is a hem stitch cocktail napkin.
Oh my gosh.
Looks super nice. You can reuse these over and over and over again, so you're not buying new paper products every time you need them.
See, that's the single-use stuff. We're getting away from that. We're getting away from it.
And in the long run, this will save you money, so you're not buying those expensive bev naps. Though I do kind of like some of those trashy ones that you see every now and then, like what happened on Facebook. What happened last night would be on Facebook in the morning, something like that, you know.
Funny ones,
yeah, absolutely. And then this is a little bit larger one, and so this would be if you wanted to have something that you were going to either wrap around a glass, a Collins glass, you want it to be a little bit larger. You could use this size cocktail napkin. I would probably fold it. When I put it with someone, they could unfold it around whatever they wanted.
It's a classy version of a koozie.
I love you, Devon.
Every now and then.
Yeah, you need a koozie. And Your Honor, I just couldn't resist. These are some super oldies but goodies. You'll find ones that people have done specialty embroidery on.
Oh,
so if you love needlepoint, you could get some of these plain ones.
Right.
Or if you went to, say, a vintage store and you found some and maybe it had a little spot in a corner, you could embellish with your needlepoint or your embroidery skills. Put your initials on them or anything else. But they're they're delicate. They're almost transparent, but they still work as a great cocktail napkin to stop the moisture from going onto your hand. And that's the art of the cocktail napkin, so your hand doesn't get wet from holding the beverage or too cold.
Embroidered rooster. It's got an embroidered rooster, y'all. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty and such a pretty color too, a little champagne peach.
I know, I love them.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Welcome back. May 4th's National Day of Prayer was observed for the 5th year there in Dickson County. Here's a look at some of these signs and items that were up at the YMCA in Dickson yesterday. Pamela Edmond tells me that instead of observing the day for just 1 hour, it was observed for a 24-hour period from midnight Wednesday to midnight on Thursday. And she shares with us that they had a great turnout.
We have a chapel. Our room was filled with people from the education, from Dr. Weeks to teachers, administrators, social workers, all that. And it's just amazing for them to come and say, hey, we need prayer. We solicit your prayer. And then we have churches or individuals that we have sign up for those particular times, because everyone is given a time.
I want to thank Pam again for giving me her time. Well, it is a busy weekend this weekend, not only Cinco de Mayo, it is Kentucky Derby weekend, a lot of festivities happening there. We have a Taylor Swift concert in Nashville, the Tennessee Sip Festival happening there in Nashville as well. So much more happening. No matter what you do, just enjoy, have fun, stay safe, and we can't wait to see you back here on Monday.